All right, Patrick, why don't you get us started by letting us know what is your business and what is your role at that business?
Well, hey, Zach, thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak about Telin. CyberOps IT, we design, build, and manage IT networks and phone systems for small business, and we have a specialization in cybersecurity.
Very cool, very cool. And how would you describe your partnership with Telin is then?
Well, Telin is really one of our core partners, especially as it relates to voice over IP and all things communication and collaboration. So when I started, Zach, and I don't know if you remember, but in some of our earlier conversations, really gave me the courage to kind of break out into the voice over IP space. Even though I had done an enormous amount of voice over IP implementations, I had never done it really as a private consultant. And so just the initial discussions that we had and the conversations where you assured me that Telin was going to be there to support us and to provide the technical depth when we needed it. It has just made the difference in whether or not we were even in this business.
Wow, that's really heartwarming to hear, and of course I remember that. So, in addition to the confidence that Telin brings you, how would you say Telin stands out as a partner versus other providers you might have worked with or seen?
Yeah, so as a managed service provider, managed security provider, I mean, I have probably 25 different vendor relationships at any given time. And I guess when you first talk with people, they can talk a really big game, and when you actually start working with people is where the rubber meets the road. And so to me, Telling just really reemphasizes and reproves why we have a partnership with them, why we want to have a relationship with them, and why we're really in this business and working with them exclusively. Sure, we could go to other providers, and we can go to Amazon, Google. I mean, there's a bazillion providers out there, but the service after the sale, the product knowledge, the product depth, the technical depth. And so, I mean, we're talking about a team of guys that can help us with everything from, hey, help us with the global contact list versus, hey, why is this SIP device not registering? And so, yeah, I mean, I'm 3CX advanced certified, but there are some things that, that I haven't worked with specifically with 3CX that a lot of your team has. It's just been great. The company culture alone, you can tell when you talk on the phone with people that work with Telin, they're happy, they like their job, they want to help their partners, they're invested in them. And so, I mean, it lines up very well with sort of, the difference. When I talk to clients, I say, look, if you're looking for an IT vendor, we're never going to be a good fit. If you're really looking for a strategic partnership where we sort of have this team synergy, then that's perfect, and that's really how I feel about Telling. When I work with you guys, I pick up the phone and call. I feel like I'm really talking to members of my team, not vendors.
Wow, Patrick. Well, it's partners like you that keep us all at Telin driven to keep providing that level of service and keep enabling you with that level of confidence. So we really appreciate that feedback. Now, moving on to the relationship, moving on past the relationship between Telin and yourself or me and you, how does Telin benefit your customers, and what do your customers think of the services you're providing now?
Yeah, so before I started partnering with Telin, I was actually doing a lot of on-prem 3CX, and I mean that is really difficult to manage just at every single level. I mean, availability is zilch when you're doing on-prem, unless you're setting up backups and cloud sync and all kind of ridiculous stuff. that makes no practical sense to manage. But since partnering with Telin, uptime is just ridiculously high. I mean, my clients are never down. The only time my clients are down is when their internet is down. And so, um, look, I put in a phone system a week and a half ago. The guy is already referring me to someone else, and he says, basically, hey, your level of service, you came in here, you had a couple little things you had to tweak, and my call quality has gone way up, my ability to set my schedule, all these different things, and that's all because of the service levels that I'm getting from Telin, right? His call qualities are way up. He already knows a week and a half later that his level of service is much higher, and Telin is the reason why that's happening, because you guys are just making us look good.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. Well, we're going to keep on doing the same thing for as long as I can see. Now, that was all the main questions I had. I mean, you answered them impeccably, Mr. Patrick. But is there any other final thoughts? Anything you wanted to add to this testimonial that you'd like to share with potential customers of Telin in the future?
Sure. I mean, I guess the thing that I want to emphasize the most is for, there are a lot of technology companies that are still not doing phone systems. And look, I think there's plenty to go around for everybody, so I don't even care about local competitors. If you're considering getting into the VoIP business and you are a qualified tech company, you need to strongly consider Telin, because they are going to take you through the process of what it's going to take to get where you want to be. Start with small systems and work you up until you're delivering a very high level of service. And so there's no reason why you can't do small systems and large systems, with Telin as your partner.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, as we always say, think differently. Clients are family, and I'm so excited to have you part of the Telin family here, Patrick. You're a wonderful partner, and we really appreciate you giving this testimonial.